The alarm clock read 3:17 a.m. when Commander James Reeves felt the cold presence in his quarters aboard the research station, Horizon's Edge. He opened his eyes to find her standing at the foot of his bed, tall and ethereal, her skin shimmering like polished obsidian under the dim emergency lighting. Queen Vera of the Nomadic Collective had bypassed every security protocol humanity had installed, simply to wake him in the dead of night. James sat up slowly, his hand instinctively reaching for the pulse weapon on his nightstand. The Queen raised one slender hand, and the weapon flew across the room, embedding itself in the far wall. She had not moved a muscle, her eyes vast and golden like twin suns, fixed upon him with an intensity that made his breath catch. "Do not be afraid, Commander," she said, her voice like wind through ancient canyons. "I have not come to harm you. Then why are you here?" James demanded, forcing steadiness into his voice. "Your fleet sits at our doorstep, and you invade my personal quarters? This is an act of war." Vara tilted her head, a gesture that seemed almost human despite her alien nature. "War," she repeated, as if tasting the word. "Your species speaks of war as though you invented it. As though the cosmos has not been at war since the first stars ignited." She moved closer, gliding rather than walking, her robe shifting like liquid shadow. James noticed the intricate patterns woven into the fabric, patterns that seemed to move and breathe with a life of their own. He had seen the Nomadic Collective's representatives before, but never their queen. Never this close. Never alone. "I need to understand something about your kind," Vara continued, settling herself on the chair beside his desk, as though they were old friends sharing tea. "For 3 cycles of your sun, I have studied your broadcasts, your literature, your wars. I have watched your species claw its way from the mud of a single world to touch the stars themselves. And I find myself confounded." "Confounded?" James echoed, unsure whether to reach for his communicator or simply listen. "Your species is young, laughably young by the standards of the collective. You have barely left your cradle world, barely learned to walk among the cosmic pathways. Every civilization we have encountered at your stage of development has been primitive, tribalistic, concerned only with immediate survival." She leaned forward, those golden eyes boring into him. "Yet you are different. Impossibly different." James felt his defensive anger beginning to shift into curiosity. "Different how?" 27 of your years ago, the Kryn Dominion sent a probe to your system. It was designed to evaluate whether your world contained resources worth harvesting, whether your species was worth enslaving or simply exterminating. Do you know what happened to that probe, Commander? He shook his head slowly. Your people destroyed it. Not with advanced weapons, not with technology you had stolen from elder races. You destroyed it with a retrofitted mining vessel, sheer determination, and what your pilot called a lucky shot. Vara stood, beginning to pace. The Kryn are a Tier 3 civilization. You were barely Tier 1. It should have been impossible. We've always been good at doing the impossible, James said quietly. Yes, Vara agreed. That is precisely what confounds me. 8 of your years ago, the plague of Nexthen swept through the outer colonies. It was a biological weapon, ancient and terrible, designed to consume all carbon-based life. 17 civilizations fell to it. 17 civilizations with billions of years of collective knowledge, and they all perished. She turned to face him. Do you know what your species did? James remembered. Everyone in the frontier remembered. We cured it. In 6 of your months, Vara said, her voice rising with something that might have been wonder, or might have been fear. 6 months. You took a plague that had destroyed empires, and a team of your scientists, working from a station not much larger than this one, found a cure. They did not have the proper equipment. They did not have the resources. Half of them died in the process. And yet they succeeded where entire civilizations failed. She moved to the window, gazing out at the stars beyond. 3 of your years ago, the Void Collective issued a challenge. They are an ancient race, older than your sun, masters of mathematics and probability. They offered their Nexus algorithm, a mathematical proof that no species had ever solved, believing it would humble the younger races. Do you know who solved it, Commander? A high school student from New Toronto, James answered. Her name was Lisa Park. She was 17. 17 of your years, Vara whispered. A child. She solved in 8 of your hours what had stumped civilizations for millennia. The Queen turned back to him, and for the first time, James saw something like vulnerability in her expression. This is why I am here, Commander. This is why I woke you at this hour. Because I need to understand. How does your species do this? How do you, barely crawled from your world, accomplish what should be impossible? James stood, moving to stand beside her at the window. You want an honest answer? I would accept nothing less. We don't know that it's impossible, he said simply. Everyone else in the galaxy seems to know what can and cannot be done. You have billions of years of history telling you the limits, the boundaries, the rules. We don't. We're too young to know better. So when someone tells us something is impossible, we just hear it as a challenge. Vara was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer. The collective is dying, Commander. We are ancient, powerful, vast beyond your comprehension. And we are dying. Our birth rates have fallen to nothing. Our innovation has stagnated. We have explored every corner of the cosmos and found it empty of new wonders. For 10,000 of your generations, we have simply existed, waiting for the end. She turned to face him fully. Then we discovered your species. Young, reckless, burning bright like a newborn star. You break every rule, defy every expectation. You should not be able to do the things you do, and yet you do them anyway. And I realized something tonight, Commander, something that brought me to your door, despite the breach of protocol, despite the risk. What did you realize? James asked quietly. That perhaps impossibility is not a wall, Vara said. Perhaps it is simply the limit of imagination. Your species has something we lost eons ago. You have hope. You have audacity. You believe, truly believe, that tomorrow can be better than today. That nothing is beyond reach if you try hard enough, sacrifice enough, dare enough. She reached out and placed one long-fingered hand on his shoulder. The touch was cold, but not unpleasant. I came here to ask for something unprecedented, Commander. The collective has never asked anything of a younger race. We have conquered, uplifted, destroyed, but we have never asked. Until now. What are you asking? James felt his heart racing. Teach us, Vara said. Teach us how to be impossible again. My people have forgotten how to dream, how to dare. We have calculated our own demise, down to the final probability. But your species, your maddening, illogical, beautiful species, you might be able to show us what we have forgotten. She paused. In exchange, we offer you everything. Our knowledge, our technology, our protection. We would become partners, equals, despite the vast gulf in our ages. James stared at her, stunned. The nomadic collective was the most powerful force in known space. They could destroy Earth with a thought, enslave humanity without breaking stride. And here stood their queen, in his quarters at 3 a.m, asking humans to teach them hope. Why me? He finally asked. Why wake me? Why not go through proper channels? Vara's expression shifted into what might have been a smile. Because proper channels are what my people do, Commander. Proper channels are protocol and procedure, and the slow death of wonder. I wanted to do something your people would do. Something immediate. Something human. She released his shoulder. I wanted to take a chance. James found himself smiling, despite the surreal nature of the situation. You know this is going to cause a diplomatic incident. Security is probably trying to break down my door right now. Let them, Vara said. Let them see that their queen is willing to set aside pride and protocol for something that matters. Let them see that even the nomadic collective can learn. The door burst open, and a squad of security personnel flooded in, weapons raised. James held up his hand. Stand down, he ordered. The Queen is here as a guest. Lieutenant Reed, leading the squad, lowered his weapon slowly. Sir, protocol requires we escort any unauthorized visitors to detention. Vara laughed, a sound like crystal bells. You see, Commander? Even now, your people follow their protocols while simultaneously ready to challenge a being who could unmake them. Discipline and defiance in equal measure. This is what we must learn. James looked at the security team, then back at the alien queen. Lieutenant, please inform Admiral Torres that Queen Vara and I will be in conference room 7 in 20 minutes. Tell him we have much to discuss. As the security team reluctantly withdrew, Vara inclined her head. Thank you, Commander. Don't thank me yet, James replied, grabbing his uniform jacket. Humanity teaching an ancient civilization how to be impossible again. That's the kind of thing that could change the galaxy. Yes, Vara agreed, her golden eyes gleaming. That is precisely what I am hoping for. As they walked together through the corridors of Horizon's Edge, human crew members stopping to